Hello, Shannon Grimm with Shannon Grimm and Partners at Howard Hanna Real Estate Services. Today we are, I think we've done one with you before. Wouldn't doubt it.
Oh, so for sure.
We're back with Eric Anderson from Buckeye State Bank.
Woohoo!
He has a cheering section apparently. And today he wants to talk to us about rehab loans, right?
Yes.
So that's one that not everyone can do.
Yes.
I'm Mike, by the way. That's Jake.
Oh, sorry.
Hello.
Yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
here with Stanley and Jake.
Shannon doesn't care about us. It's okay. Let's be honest. We're here for Eric.
I do on some podcasts,
That's
but
what
this
I
one
like.
I sort of, forgot about them. And sorry, the microphone.
Yeah. Hello.
There you go.
Gotta get real intimate with the microphone.
Real
All right.
close.
So where do you want me to start?
I don't know. What do you got?
All right. Buckeye State Bank just released a new product last week, and it's a rehab loan, second mortgage. So a lot of people come to our bank asking for HELOCs, home equity lines of credit, so that they can do improvements. And sometimes that home may not have enough accessible equity that they can get the larger projects done. They may be only able to tap into $50,000 or $60,000. The loan that we have now is a 20-year product that allows someone to use the future value of the home. So you can now go out like a traditional construction loan, you can get the larger project done and we can use the future value. So if your house is worth $400,000 today, but you need $200,000 for the project, the expansion.
Holy crap. That's a big reno project.
So the cool thing is and unfortunately a lot of people are not selling their homes because they don't want to surrender a low rate to go into the open market. This loan allows you to leave your first mortgage loan intact. So if you're sitting on a low rate, you can use a construction second mortgage to complete the construction. Since you're not going to leave the house, you want to rehab it. This allows you to do that work, leave your first mortgage alone, and still get that future value so you can get the loan completed.
So I'd say that's a very unique product.
I don't know of anybody else that's offering it.
Not like
banks.
that.
No, banks either offer a HELOC, home equity line of credit, or they're going to force you to refinance that first mortgage because it's a construction loan. So if a customer walks into our bank today, we would first look at a HELOC because it is no closing cost. It's quicker, easier, close 2-3 weeks. But if that doesn't fit their model or what their goal is, then we now have this product that allows us to use future value. There are some fees with it because you are doing a full appraisal, you have construction draws, those kind of things. But it's a great product. The rate's fixed for 10 years. It's a 20-year AM. So it's still very favorable compared to what you're seeing in the market. And it still allows the folks, the homeowners, to keep that first mortgage intact.
Yeah, that sounds like a very favorable.
Yeah, so let's say, I'm just using this as an example. Someone bought a home, and I'm going down on the chair. Uh-oh.
What just happened there?
Let's say someone bought a home at the beginning of 2022, and they had a 3% interest to whatever, low interest rate, and they paid $450,000, and it's gone up a bit since then. It's worth $500,000, but they want to put $200,000 in the home, and they don't have that equity in it.
Right.
They can't use a HELOC because of that. This is where this program would work really well. Then
Correct.
They get to keep that low rate that they locked into, a year and a half ago, but they can get the money out of it with that future value.
That's correct. So they can come to us with the plans. We would get that to an appraiser, and they'd say, well, based on your investment or the improvement, then your future value would be X, and then we factor that into the house. So to the value, so the loan can get done. The thing you have to be careful about is if you're just remodeling a kitchen or something like that, that may make the home more attractive and may make it more livable, but you may not get dollar for dollar value. If you're adding square footage, if you're putting windows, furnace, roof, making the house effective age younger, then you may get more. But you need to go in knowing that maybe not all your improvements will get you a dollar for dollar improvement.
Yeah, that's a big one because people will be like, well, I put this in, it was $8,000. Okay, that was great, but now it's not worth $8,000 in home value. It just makes your home more likely to sell
More
over
marketable.
the next house.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So people think that whatever they put in is what they're going to get back, and that's never true.
Because everybody thinks they're going to get a roof that's not damaged, a working HVAC, working hot water heater. They think that they're going to buy a house that works. So
a
when you
driveway that's not crumbling.
correct. So when you put in things that are working, they cost money, but people expect that when they buy a house. So it's not increasing increases marketability 100%
Right.
and desirability.
Right.
Well, we oftentimes, again, we have customers that come in that have been referred to us by contractors in the market, and they just ask us to kind of be the financing consultant to find out what path is the best way. So because we have two products, the HELOC and the second mortgage renovation loan, we really need to find out what their goal is, and then if we can get them into the HELOC, because there's no closing costs, those kind of things, that's probably the best product. But what we're seeing is interest in doing more. Now that this product's available, these projects are going from $100,000 to $250,000 because now they realize, we can really make this house more than what it is today without surrendering the first mortgage. So it's
Well,
it's
and
pretty cool.
unfortunately, the cost of everything has now doubled.
Yeah. But hopefully you get that out if you once you get to sell it and get the
Yeah.
house polished and up to speed, so you enjoy staying in it. And you decide to sell it, you'll get top dollar.
And you would call us.
Howard Hanna.
Yes.
No, just Shannon Grimm
Shannon
and Partners.
Shannon Grimm and Partners.com.
Not just randomly Howard Hanna agent.
ShannonGrimmandPartners.com.
Perimeter Drive.
614-551-0077. My cell phone number.
Little snake.
I just know if I'm selling my house, I'm coming to you.
You better. I think you know better now. No. But you've always been good at talking to people, finding out what it is they need, and guiding them the right way. So
Well, thank you.
it's good that this is just another product that you have that you can work from.
Well, I appreciate that. No, I enjoy working with folks so that, once they're done, not only do they own a home, but they understand the process, they understand the escrows, they understand some of the inner workings, because homeowners they're not expected to be the experts.
Right.
Realtors are supposed to be the experts in their field. I'm an expert, I think, maybe in the lending side of it, but so that when the people get done buying their homes, they are confident in their purchase because they got a great contract and they got solid financing. Maybe rates aren't what they want, but they got the house. The rates can change later. But get
And a house is a solid investment.
Oh, absolutely, especially in Columbus, Ohio, Central Ohio.
Yeah. Well, so interesting thing. So we're in the top 5 for sales still. And I think we are number 7 for highest real estate taxes.
Yep.
So that's kind of interesting. And there are people out there who still think cows roam the city. So,
We have them around, but not.
I mean, you got to kind of go far out,
Yeah,
which we do since we cover 8 counties.
It's not all
but-
that far.
Well, sometimes I still get excited when I see cows. I don't see them
I
every
do. They
day.
live out by me in Ostrander. It takes me
Right, I don't see them every day.
40 minutes without traffic because we have traffic at certain times of day, but compared to other major cities and where some of you people might be watching from considering moving here, our traffic is nothing compared to what you have.
Yeah.
It
Right.
takes me 40 minutes to drive from my house downtown, and that's no traffic, and that's where I start to see cows is out by me, and they're around my house.
Yeah.
Let's just put it in perspective. If I lived this distance out in L.A., San Diego, Chicago, Dallas, wherever.
You'd still be in the city. First off.
Well, yes, but that distance to get downtown from where I am would take you 2 hours. So that's how bad your traffic is, and that's how far out I live. So
Yeah. Yeah, our traffic here is pretty good. Columbus has always been pretty good about knowing what's coming and knowing how, that they got to get in front of the situation and not wait for it to, kind of take over us. Yeah.
Traffic just gets bad actually downtown, which you can't get away from that. But other than that, it's not even bad.
Yes, and I don't like to schedule things downtown until 10 a.m. That way I avoid rush hour and I can go get sauerkraut balls at Schmidt's, which I am craving right now.
There you go. You're just hungry.
Sauerkraut balls, all right.
I haven't
just
gotten to
hungry.
eat yet.
Okay.
And it's 2 o'clock. That's way past my feeding time. Whose alarm's going off?
I think that's probably yours.
Is it really? It's not going off on my phone or my watch.
is it Abby's phone that's recording?
That's my phone.
Ah.
Oops. I have an alarm for. Oh, it's time for your podcast.
Oh, I'm here.
That's what my alarm's going off.
We started the podcast early today. It was supposed to start at 2, so that's what the alarm was for. I was like, what the heck is that? Yes. Sorry.
Nice little wave there.
All right, we got off on a tangent. We were talking about, I can't
Traffic.
remember. We started talking about the Columbus market, but what led into that?
He was talking about, so basically, he was talking about keeping clients from teaching them about the lending process when they buy the home.
Yes.
And then I assume he was going to go into helping people once they
Right.
already have the home.
Yeah, once they got a home and trying to take the next step, because that usually when they bought the home, they've got dreams and visions of what it can be. Because sometimes you bought the house because you got the house and it was the right deal, but you still need to polish it. It's still not your taste. It's not your fit and finish, but it is a good home to start with. And that's where we'd love to help out.
Yeah, like certain areas around town, you're not buying the house, you're buying the location first and foremost. You make the house what you want it to be.
Yeah. Schools, whatever.
Yeah. But, area, not even necessarily school, because like I'm in a great school district, but I didn't.
Grandview, German Village,
Upper Arlington,
Upper Arlington,
Dublin.
yeah.
You buy the location, not the house. You
Yep.
make the house what you want it to be.
Yep. Yep.
With
But,
with the help of Eric Anderson.
Oh, yes.
That's right.
Buckeye State Bank.
So, how does this loan work? Let's say someone is purchasing a home. Do you have a different program for that, or it's not? Wouldn't quite be the same program because
And what if it's
they
a
don't
duplex?
already have a mortgage?
Well, we've done purchases where someone's buying a house, but it has known and needed renovations.
Yes.
It won't pass conventional lending standards.
Right.
So that's a little bit more tricky because you have to get quotes and contracts from contractors. So we can do a purchase that would have the construction component in it. It'd be one loan, but you would just be buying it at market rate, whatever that'd be, and you'd just be buying it with a construction loan component, and off you go. And that's popular. But so we can do it that way. If someone bought a house today, but they're like, I'm buying it, but I know I need to do renovations, we can start working on the loan the month after they buy it. As long as
Okay,
they've owned
interesting. So you do the first loan, conventional 30-year fixed,
Yep.
and then you do the second loan.
Yep. So they can do it. So they can get a probably or possibly a lower rate on the first mortgage, and then once they're in, now they can take the next 2 or 3 months to get quotes, to get a contractor that they
Yeah.
like.
Oh, wow.
Because it's really tough.
Because it's
When
going
you
to need time to get a contract.
So-
Oh, 100%,
Because
yes.
it's tough. If you go on a contract and say, well, I want to do a renovation, that seller wants to close within 30 days. That means you're under the gun to get quotes that are acceptable with a builder you like and pick out fit and finish. So if you can do it, fantastic. That's a lot of stress. So it's usually better to buy the property, get in, then properly take time. And if it takes you 6 months, at least you're getting it done right the first time versus rushing and then realizing, looking back, man, I could have done something a little bit different, cheaper, better.
That makes a
So-
lot of sense.
Yeah.
Clintonville buyers,
Oh, yeah.
this is
Yeah.
for you.
Yes.
This is 100% for you. Great popular area. Every house needs a touch on it, for sure.
A lot of them have been touched.
Well, that's
Yeah.
true, but there's some great deals to be had that you could get some great solid equity out and put your own touch on down there, and some really cool homes too that have a lot of character and charm that are older homes, pushing 100 years
there's
old.
a lot of the my favorite style, which is the Sears and Roebuck.
Yeah, the craftsman
Homes
style.
that came in, the homes that came in that you ordered out of a catalog and you put together. So I always thought that was really neat because they sold for like $2,000, and now they're selling for like $400,000. So it's crazy. And Clintonville's always been a crazy area. So it was the first place I lived when I moved here. And no matter what's going on, no matter what the economy's like, no matter what anything's like, Clintonville always sells quick.
No. Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, it's
and
great
it's
if-
in Columbus City.
People moving in for work, downtown's close. If they're going to school,
If they're a professor
yeah, I mean, you're really
at
centered to
Ohio
everything.
State, anywhere, yeah.
You can jump on the freeways quickly.
Doctors at Ohio State also
Yep.
live there.
Yep.
So yeah. So what other programs do you have?
Oh my goodness. Like any
Just go.
bank.
Give us one more. Like I know you got all the traditional.
Let's. We do construction and lot loans. The construction loan that we have is very interesting or unique in that when you do a construction loan with us, we don't count the current housing in the debt ratio. So sometimes some banks require,
Interesting. Yeah.
because you're either going to sell the old house or you're going to rent it out. You're not going
Right.
to leave it vacant.
Right.
And the construction is interest only, so it's not amortizing yet. So that allows folks to qualify for a home while they still live in their current home, because they can't carry
That's
two mortgages at once.
really
Right.
nice.
Kind of stuck, so I can't build because I have this. I don't want to sell and move in an apartment. So this allows to remain where you're at, complete the construction, then move out and sell.
That's awesome.
That is actually a really great program. Wow.
So is that like too much about like is it more expensive to do that interest rate wise
No.
or so the interest
Similar.
rate's still pretty similar?
It's similar, yes. Yep.
Wow.
There's no adjustment to pricing or structure. We know that you've got a rent payment or you've got a housing payment of X. We just exclude it from debt ratio. We're aware of it, but we just know what the final product will be. The interesting thing, just quickly about construction loans, is most construction loans have a 1-year build period, and it's interest only during that period. After that loan, after construction's complete, it turns into an amortized loan payment. What most customers don't realize is that it's based on a 29-year amortization, not a 30-year, because you used up
a year.
You used 1 year of the 30 years as interest only. You don't get another 30 years of AM, so it pushes your payment up slightly, but you're amortizing slightly a little faster. So when people do their math, they're usually off, and that's why, because they're like,
Well, people don't realize that the first 15 years of your loan is predominantly interest anyways.
Yep.
So, I mean, why not get it out of the way up front?
Yep.
You're going to pay it one way or another.
Absolutely. So, but that's a great feature of our construction loan, and we don't have an origination fee. We have fees, but we don't charge 1 point or 2 points. A lot of banks will charge that because they're outlaying the money, they're paying a loan officer commission, they've got expenses, so they're going to charge the customer 1% to cover that. Well, we don't charge that 1% origination fee or whatever they.
Well, I've ran into one of the online places charge like a 3% origination fee.
Online.
Yeah. Well, and even then, it was like, wait, for a $200,000 home, you have to bring $17,000 in closing costs for the lender.
Wrong.
Like, that's insane.
I think it's important that as a lender that you go on the internet, heaven knows what you're going to find. But you should be able to if you walk into an office and sit down with somebody, if you've got a question or a problem, and have a face-to-face conversation besides people hiding behind a phone 2,000 miles away on a different coast, something like that. So I just think
people nowadays, you get people who just like the convenience of, I can do this right from my phone. But what they don't understand is what's going on behind the scenes, is that you're getting this pre-approval and it's not really worth anything. Because they're just telling you're pre-approved, and they want to see how far they'll get you, and they're doing it to a lot of people, and only a fraction of the people they're actually pre-approving are going to actually really be qualified to buy.
And how many points are you paying? What fees are you paying?
Right, and you're paying all these fees because of all these ones that they're just throwing out there to see if they'll work. They're having to pay money to pay these people to just give these false.
And they advertise that low rate, and it's like, well, you're actually paying quite a bit in points, and all of a sudden it's like, I got a great rate. Well, you said, I paid $15,000 in closing costs on a $250,000 house. What? That should have been $4,000.
That's what happens in our industry. Is that you'll see advertised these low rates that are phenomenal, and it's because a lot of loan officers know that customers focus on rate.
Right.
So they lead with this rate that the customer thinks they got the great deal. They're bragging to their friends and family about it, and then they get the disclosures back and they realize they're paying 3 points.
Or they're bragging that they'll give you $10,000 in closing costs, not knowing they're still going to get another $8,000 from you, which is still almost double what you would normally pay.
So the trick is making sure that whatever the rate you got, which hopefully is a fair rate, and points aren't bad if it's appropriately explained and identified, and there's math that the math is the math, and that'll allow you to know if the points make sense based on the amount of the lower rate you're getting. If it takes you 2 years to get the money back, maybe it's a good deal, but if it's 5 or 6 years to get the money back, that's probably not a good deal, because you might sell for refinance something else in the meantime, and that money is gone. Yeah. So you really need someone that can explain the math, and then you make the decision as the buyer, but you're educated. And that's the important part.
I think that's why it's important to have the face-to-face interaction.
100%.
Or at least know where you can find them if there's something wrong.
Yes. And people don't think that, I can pay the points and I'm not going to move or whatever. You have no idea how many people, even after just a couple years, but 5 years
or
to 7
6 months.
5 to 7 years, it seems like everyone is ready to move. And eventually you get in a house, you stay in for a while. But 5 to 7 years, if you're not going to recoup those points that you paid, how stupid was it for you to pay that? And also within that time frame, how likely is it going to be that interest rates went down and refinancing would have saved you a bit more and you didn't need to pay those points in the first place?
Well, I've literally had tons of people move 6 months to a year after. So you never know when you're going to take a job that's going to transfer you out, or who knows what can happen. So you just never know, but that 5 to 7 is usually a pretty good gauge, I think, too.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, that's pretty much the average of when people move. So, Eric, you want to tell everyone how to get a hold of you?
Sure. I'm Eric Anderson, Buckeye State Bank in Powell, Ohio. My email address is eanderson@joinbsb.com. My cell phone, 614-832-7242. You're more welcome to text me or call me and say, I've got a question, I'm concerned, I've gotten a loan estimate. Please explain it. I'd love to provide assistance in that. I don't necessarily have to get the loan to help. I just want to be out there available if people have questions about that.
They have an amazing bank branch in Powell, actually. Beautiful, beautiful bank.
Beautiful.
If you guys want to stop by there, I recommend that as well. It's
thank you.
incredible.
And so we only refer agents who work this, or not agents. We only refer lenders who work the same
There it
hours
is.
we
You got
work.
it. Took you 3 times. You got it.
24/7 is what
You're going to make her re-say
Pretty
it. She's
much.
going to mess it up.
At least 8 to 8. 8 to 8 is what I need someone to work. And also someone who has a cell phone that someone can call or
an
text.
answer.
Yeah, which when you get those big banks, they're just never available when you need them. So it's kind of rough
Right.
because they do bankers' hours. So,
No.
but we appreciate,
I appreciate that. It's
everything
kind of
you
you.
do for us too. And again, I'm Shannon Grimm with Shannon Grimm and Partners, and Jake and Stanley. We're here too,
Thank you.
along with
Thank you,
Eric.
thank you.
We thank you all for watching or listening or however you're doing it. And be sure to like, follow, subscribe at Shannon Grimm Realtor.
Comment and hit that notification bell.
Thank you very much.